it occurred to me that I never really did a proper introduction of the Frontier Studio videos, which was a kind of a jump from when I used to do the book videos, which that's what I have here for you today, is a good little book video. I'll have more of those coming because that's where I feel like I really got my start with this whole YouTube journey, is wanting to document the research I'm doing in the books, share that with you in case you might be interested. And now I have the Frontier Studio going on, which is a whole nother part of this journey. So I am in the process also of really kind of changing the direction of where my work is starting to look. I have some of them right here, so I can, show you a little bit more as the concepts continue to build. But for now, I'll just kind of let you see where the work's at. Really excited about it. Really excited about where things are going. Some of you I have talked to about it, so I get to share that with you all who have kind of heard a little bit about what I'm doing with the paintings. So that's really exciting. Frontier Studio is basically me just being mobile for now. I relocated to another part of San Antonio, so I have space to build a studio from the ground up. I have limited size that I can make it, but I'm excited about what I'm able to do, in that space. So we're gonna get started on that this spring, and then hopefully it's done within the year, lining up to when I get to show these works, these paintings. So I'm going to build it. I'm going to be putting myself out there for the time being in different locations. If you see the other videos that I've done, I went to Alazan Creek, which is on the west side of San Antonio over by Woodlawn Lake. And, I don't know where I'm going to go next. I've done things just kind of pulling off to the side of the road somewhere I found. It's actually really interesting because I thought it was just a little side street with some parking, but then I found a little trail and got to get a nice little nature walk, which was cool. So, it was good. I'll share things with you as we go and just keep you informed. Keep watching the videos. I'm going to, really try to be consistent as long as I can see consistent growth. We're at 50 subscribers, which is kind of exciting, so I'll, give myself and you all and just us all that are kind of paying attention to art some kudos, because there's a lot going on right now, and being able to do this stuff, being able to draw, being able to sketch and draw with students, because I still am working in education, is really exciting. Enjoy the book and then enjoy the videos of the Frontier Studio. If there's specific books or artists you want me to research and pursue and see some of the books that they have out there, please let me know. Put it in the comments. Put me on. I'm always looking for new inspiration. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out this book, Monet. That is pronounced Monet, not Monet, or anything like that. It's Monet. This is a good, nice volume of works in this book. It was published in 2004 by Paragon Publishing, which is out of the UK. ISBN 1-405-42-985-2. It is written by Vanessa Potts. There is an introduction here by Dr. Claire O'Mahony. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. As you can see, the book really just gets right into the artworks, the paintings that Monet did throughout his life. And there's a good variety of things here. I mean, we have landscape, we have portraits, we have still lifes. This one that we're looking at right here of these trees, is just a beautiful example of how Monet handled light and shadow and framing and composition and just the whole works of what it means to create a really knockout painting. As you can see on this one here, that's another one where the light is just phenomenally executed. There's just a lot of work in this book. Just a lot of things that you can use for source material. I really love this smaller work that's featured here. You can see the brushstrokes that are really visible. The writing that is associated with this book here on the left-hand side of this page talks about how this painting is really assumed to be unfinished. There's some exposed canvas that you can see when you look at that painting, which Monet did quite a bit throughout some of the works that he would work on, and that doesn't mean that it's unfinished, just he left it exposed. But there's a couple of points that Vanessa Potts makes in her writing here that point to it being unfinished. It's a portrait of Camille, Monet's, I believe, third wife throughout his lifetime. This is a beautiful example of a still life. I think this one is just, I don't know, he did something different with the rendering where the shadows and light are just a lot more smoothed out. Monet has a really impressionistic type of hand through his work where you can see his brush strokes and you can see how he's kind of more working in the moment of capturing the impression of the moment that he witnessed or, that he was a part of or that, he was standing in front of. But that still life kind of slows down a little bit more. There's another portrait of Camille, a little bit more attention to the front profile, I guess, of her face. This is a famous work that you might have seen before, the sunrise, Impressionist sunrise. Some scholars believe it and claim it to be one of the first Impressionist paintings because it's the way it's dated. It kind of precedes a lot of the really deep Impressionism. Monet got inspired by a lot of Japanese art, as you can see in some of these works too. This was big amongst a lot of the Impressionists. They started to see different literature and just different things, different artworks, different crafts that would come from Asia and get inspired. I like this image that I paused on for a second because of the framing. The light is, not what you would expect it to be, but it's where the viewer's at, and it's also behind the subject. So it's backlit while frontlit. I don't know, it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful play of light, which Monet does quite a bit throughout, everything that he works on. It doesn't look like he captures an image unless there is a specificity of light that he can play with. I mean, look at the way he's doing the steam and the clouds. Sometimes, making it more ephemeral looking, sometimes just rendering it childlike. And look at this. This is, simple shapes and very quick marks, so to speak, but it has depth and it has volume, and you can see, this whole scene played out in action. There's action here. I just want to come on real quick and just remind you to like the video and please subscribe if you have not done so yet. I know it is easy to move on with your day without doing that, but if you could just take the few seconds it takes to like and subscribe. So every once in a while I'll play through a book like this and I'll look at images and I'll sketch them out in pencil just to kind of add them to my library of visual texture in my mind. You know, near the end of Monet's career in his life, he basically was succumbed to cataracts. And you can really see it on these last few paintings that are listed in this book. They're dated around 1918 to 1924. And you can see how the paint just kind of moves differently on the canvas. Things start to get a little bit more abstracted. Here you can see the bridge, I think, a little bit more easily on this green and yellow painting, but once you look at this cherry purple red painting, you can see the way that the paint kind of dances across the canvas in these spirals of color, and they just don't quite look like the same bridges that he was painting, you know, in earlier works that we looked at throughout this book. And they're rich in color and everything, but they're just different. So you can see just the transgression of where his storywork starts to go. And then the book just ends with some biographies and acknowledgments on the author and the writer of the introduction. And the back of the book just has some quick words about Monet. And like I said, it was purchased at Ross, $6. Thanks for watching this video. I appreciate you watching the book videos and the Frontier Studio videos and all of the stuff.